What's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB Recap. If this is your first time on the channel, we do this every single day, so don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, as well as save yourself 20 bucks off on SeatGeek. Use code Fuzzy if you're going to any baseball games anytime soon. The Yankees are starting to gain some traction again. The Cardinals, they are now in the playoff picture, even though Yadier Molina and Daniel Ponce de Leon got in a little scuffle yesterday, and the Dodgers, they secured a spot in the playoffs already. Now, before we talk about the little stories and the highlights from yesterday, I do want to mention that today, going forward, every single September 15th, Major League Baseball is going to notice this day as Roberto Clemente Day. He had 3,000 hits on the dot, 12 Gold Gloves, and he was incredibly influential, one of my favorite players of all time. Now, speaking of influential, Time Magazine has a list of the 100 most influential humans on the face of the earth, and Shohei Ohtani made that list, so I could not be happier for him as well as the game of baseball. We needed a guy like him. And also, speaking of the Angels, Luis Rengifo, apparently he is being accused of forging divorce papers in his native country, and his wife is not happy, or I should say ex-wife is not happy, and he's facing possible extradition, which means that he might get sent back there. Is that going to happen? I have no idea, but I wanted to update you guys real quick on both Shohei Ohtani and Luis Rengifo, because yesterday they faced off against the White Sox, and there might be some Shohei Ohtani fatigue. He strikes out in the first. He is now batting 189 over his last 21 games. He still has some pop, but he's got to get that average back to 260, 270 like it has been, or maybe Lucas Giolito is just that nasty. La Pantera, Luis Robert pimps one, and Eloy Jimenez makes an incredible play in the third inning. He is so much fun to watch. This entire White Sox team is a lot of fun to watch, and holy shit, I said Sheet. Gavin Sheets goes 450 feet. Yasmani Grandal and Cesar driving a few more on some singles. Sheets ends up scoring on a balk. And the Angels, they really need Mike Trout back in the lineup, and Anthony Rendon, even Justin Upton. I mean, he has not been the best, but he's still someone that has delivered in the clutch for them throughout the year. It's just really sad what is happening to the Angels. They could go down as the team that wasted Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani if they don't deliver next year in 2023. I'm going to put the bat away now, but you guys remember the times where this was the best bat on the face of the earth, the Easton Stealth? Good Lord. The lone walk-off victory. You have the Tigers versus the Brewers, and honestly, until the final inning when there was a walk-off, I thought that fans in attendance deserve a refund because you have Freddie Peralta versus Willie Peralta, and they both went 6 shutout innings. Freddie had 9 strikeouts, 0 walks, only 2 hits, and Willie, he had 6 shutout innings as well, only allowed 2 base hits, and then a rain delay hit. So a lot of people do enjoy a pitcher's duel, but when you have a 0-0 score and then a rain delay hits, that's kind of a boring game in my opinion. But regardless, the Tigers fans that stuck it out, they got to witness a Derek Hill walk-off in the bottom of the 11th. The Tigers struck out 18 times and still won the game. They're on a 2-game winning streak against the Brewers, which is worrisome because my team, Cleveland, we got dismantled by the Brewers. So the Tigers, I think they're ahead of schedule for 2022. They might even be better than us. So let's get the Dodgers game out the way real quick because really it was meaningless. They're like 17 million games ahead of first place in the wild card. They're still fighting for first place in the West Division, but Trey Turner doubles in Max Muncy, and Max Muncy, he doesn't need any help in the third inning. Well, actually, he was using Albert Pujols' bat, so maybe there was some magic in it. Tony Gonsolin is one of the most underrated players in baseball. I can't believe I have to keep on saying this. 5 shutout innings, and to begin his career, he has a 2.55 ERA in his first 130 innings pitched. Trey Turner, he goes yard for his 22nd home run. Will Smith now has 24 with a 140 OPS plus and a 3.6 WAR. The Dodgers end up with 8 runs, and they clinch their 9th consecutive playoff spot. Moving on over to the American League, this is going to be the wild card teams. The Red Sox versus the Mariners. Both teams were neck and neck for second and third place. The game was scoreless into the 4th as Nathan Eovaldi and Tyler Anderson were dueling. JD Martinez goes yard for homer number 26, and Seattle, they answer right back on a Ty France single, and then Jake Fraley came in huge after we just saw Hunter Renfroe make an error. He drops the ball, and then that run scores on the sac fly. Bobby Dahlbeck has been insane in the second half. It's his 22nd home run of the year to tie it up, and then Kyle Schwarber, he clears him. Both of those guys have been carrying the Red Sox offense as of late. Verdugo hits a 2-run shot that was followed up by Xander Bogaerts' RBI single, and Boston, they take an 8-4 victory. That was a massive win for their playoff hopes. We'll talk about the standings in just a moment because we have to bring up the Yankees. Judge continues to have a monster year. He's batting .294 with 34 home runs and a 5.4 WAR on the season. Garrett Cole is able to escape shape, a bases loaded jam, and Giancarlo Stanton, he goes yard for homer number 28. Luke Voigt goes back-to-back, and in my opinion, Garrett Cole has been worth every single penny. 7 strikeouts and 5 innings. Now, the Orioles, they do suck, but Joey Gallo, if he can use the Orioles to get hot, my friend now has 3 home runs and a plus 1,000 OPS over his last 6 games. DJ LeMahieu goes yard, and Chapman strikes out 2 in the 9th inning. The Yankees are on a 2-game winning streak, and they have to keep this up. I just want to mention also that Gleyber Torres made an error at second base, and Aaron Boone, he seems annoyed with the guy. He's almost ready to bench him. Now, I don't think that's going to happen because Gleyber Torres is 24 years old and his ceiling is almost unlimited, especially offensively. But on the defensive side of things, ooh, he's bad. He's stinky. The Rays faced off against the Jays, and the Jays are not going anywhere anytime soon, but the Rays did pick up a big-time W yesterday as Joey Wendell, he robs George Springer in the 1st inning, and G-Man Choi has been very solid, kind of flying under the radar. 10 home runs and a 123 OPS plus, and he loves his bat. He was giving it some smooches. Bo, he saves a run in the 2nd inning, and Drew Rasmussen, this was a huge trade for the Rays. 5 shutout innings, only allowed 2 base hits. Jose Barrios was pretty good as well. 7 strikeouts in 7, and he got some help from Marcus Semien. There was some good defense on both sides. Randy Arozarena comes in clutch in right field, and that was right before Brandon Lau blasts his 34th home run. The guy is just incredible. Andrew Kittredge gets the save, and they are the first team, talking about the Rays, to 90 wins in the American League. And last but not least, for the wild card teams in the American League, the Royals faced off against the A's. But yesterday we had a slugfest. This was all Oakland for the first hour, maybe hour and a half of the game. They go up 6-0 by the 3rd inning, but cue the Kansas City comeback. Whit Merrifield and Salvi Perez, they drive in a few on some singles. Mondesi, he uses his speed to drive in an RBI on a fielder's choice to cut the deficit in half. Dozier, he is tired of being the worst player in baseball. He goes 430, and then skip to the 7th inning where Nicky Lopez has an RBI single, and Salvador Perez rips the heart out of A's fans. 43 home runs, 109 RBI, so he's number 1 in that department. He's not going to win the Triple Crown because his batting average is so low, but he could steal some categories from Vlad Jr. Isbell hits his first career home run. Scott Barlow now has 13 saves and a 2.34 ERA. So the AL wildcard is shaping up that the Yankees and the Blue Jays are tied for first place after the Jays lost and the Yankees won. The Boston Red Sox are just barely out, and then Seattle and Oakland are both 3 games back for the wildcard. Wow. Moving on over to the NL wildcard race, we have the Cubs facing off against the Phillies. Odubel Herrera, he hits a moonshot, and that was about it until later in the game as Patrick Wisdom says, "I'll be taking that, sir." 26 home runs as a rookie. He ties Chris Bryant for the Cubs franchise record. I don't remember if it's Alonso Rivas or Alfonso Rivas. He goes back-to-back for his first MLB home run. Rafael Ortega socks an RBI double, and Bryce Harper answers with an RBI of his own. Didi drives in Bryce to make it 4-3, only to have Frank the Tank, Frank Schwindel doubles in Nick Martini, and then Ian Happ did the same, but with Frank. So Ian Happ now has a 98 OPS plus. We've been following that for the last 2 weeks. He's almost there, back up to a 100 OPS plus, and Rowan Wick strikes out 3 in the save. So the Phillies, they need the Braves to lose, and they did. Even though Freddie Freeman brings home Jorge Soler for the first run of the game, Trevor Story, he muscles up and drives one 430 feet. Garrett Hampson has been Mark McGwire the last week. He stays hot. And then you have Dansby Swanson tying up on a double in the 4th. The Phillies better send a flower arrangement or edible arrangements to Brendan Rodgers because he belts a 2-run shot as John Gray was able to settle down. After the first few runs he allowed early, he had 7 strikeouts in 5 innings. Rio Ruiz, he was able to clutch up for a sac fly in the 6th, and that was big time because Adam Duvall hits a 2-run home run. He now has 101 RBIs. He's number 1 in the National League along with 35 home runs. And then Estevez, he's able to clutch up for the save, and the Braves lose 5-4. The Cardinals, another 1-run game that I want to talk about. The Mets, they actually go up 2-0 in the 1st inning, but St. Louis is able to get both of those back on an infield single and sac fly. And it was a very weird 5th inning because St. Louis, they lose the lead, and then Yadier Molina ended up beefing or fighting with Daniel Ponce de Leon. I mean, hey, Mr. Ponce de Leon, you have a almost 6 ERA over the last 2 seasons. I would probably not fight the future Hall of Famer, but that's just me. Marcus Stroman, shout out to him. He is in the top 5 for quality starts in 2021. He was great again. 8 strikeouts in 6 innings. He gives the bullpen a lead, and then the bullpen immediately implodes. Tyler O'Neill now has a 5.3 WAR to go along with his 26 home runs. Javier Baez has been insane. 9 home runs and a .310 batting average. average in his first 30 games for the Mets. Goldie's double play in the 10th. My God, this is, I think they had 19 Gold Gloves combined between Goldie, Yadier Molina, and Nolan Arenado. And Mundo Sosa and Andrew Kisner, they drive in 3. The Mets answer back with 2, but of course they lose by that 1 run. I think they have 14 one-run losses in 2021. Incredible. It's hard to do that, and I kind of feel bad. The Pirates versus the Reds, Sasugo, Stallings, and Gamble. They all put the ball in play, and they each have an RBI single to make it 3-0. Wade Miley was not happy. Dylan Peters, have yourself a day. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 5 shutout innings, and luckily he gets 2 more in the 5th. Stallings, his double makes it 6-0, and they need all 6 because the Reds, they storm back for 4 in the 6th inning, and Nick Castellanos smokes one. He has 29 home runs, but the game ends on a Joey Votto strikeout. He is hitting just 187 over his last 23 games, so the Reds, they keep on falling in the standings, and they're right along with the Padres, who take a loss to the mighty Giants. Buster Posey has 18 home runs as a 34-year-old catcher. Not many guys can say they've done this in Major League Baseball history as that old of a catcher. Buster Posey scores in the 3rd on a bad pickoff attempt, and La Stella has been terrific since returning from the IL. Esclafani nearly goes 7 innings, only allowing 1 earned run on 3 hits. Then you have Darren Ruff and Brandon Belt both doubling in a pair. Brandon Belt scores on an error from the Padres, and the Giants have won 9 games in a row. San Diego has been the worst offense in baseball since August, and their team OPS is now 18th, which is below average. So the wild card in the National League, the Cardinals are now a half game ahead of the Reds. The Padres are 1 game back, and the Phillies and the Mets are 3 and 4 games back. Real quick, let's talk about the games that didn't really mean anything, but they were still fun. Old man Ryan Zimmerman yanks a ball nearly 450 feet, and Juan Soto delivers. Lewin Diaz, he might be the first baseman of the future if Jesus Aguilar is not going to be re-signed in 2022. Eric Fetty was sensational though. 8 strikeouts, 0 walks, only allowed that 1 run. Eduardo Escobar has an RBI double. Josh Bell has a bases loaded walk. Lewin has another home run, but the game was over. The Nationals scored 4 more in the 8th on some horrible baseball from the Marlins. Juan Soto has a .466 on base percentage over his last 181 games. Cleveland beat the Twins in game number 1. Tristan, he was sensational yesterday. More on him later because we have to talk about Bradley Zimmer. .451 off the bat. He slams his bat down because he has gotten 0 results over the last month. Shout out to Joe Ryan. 5 strikeouts, only 1 earned run, but he had to leave the game from a comebacker. His replacement, Alcara, had his back, but Tristan McKenzie was even better. 7 strikeouts. He has only allowed 4 earned runs over his last 25 innings, and Austin Hedges and Yu Chang, they take the lead, and they give it to Emmanuel Clase. He shuts it down, 23 saves. Now, in game number 2, the Twins do answer back. Cleveland pounces for 3 in the 3rd, but the Twins offense, they're lethal. They can pop off at any moment. Ryan Jeffers, this was his day. 2 RBIs. That was followed by Astudillo and Gordon grabbing the lead, and then Jeffers wants more. He smacks a 2-run shot for Alex Colme, who completes his 14th save. And then Texas versus the Astros, just the day after the Rangers got embarrassed, Texas returns the favor. Nate Lowe goes .440 for his 15th home run. Adolis Garcia El Bamba ties the Rangers record with his 30th home run for rookies. And then Nick Solak, he has an RBI single right before DJ Peters. The kid has stupid power. So far for the Rangers, he is hitting 1 home run every 13 at-bats, but he has a horrid .226 on base percentage because he has 53 strikeouts to 3 walks. Jordan Lyles was fantastic. 7 shutout innings, 1 walk on 7 strikeouts as the Rangers beat the Astros 8-1. That does it for today's MLB recap. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. Remember to use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save 20 bucks off and enjoy this day in MLB history. Pablo Sandoval, he hit for the cycle.
And Sandoval up the middle. Down. Hits it out to right field. On the move is Gonzalez. It is off the bottom of the wall. It could be a triple. Penn is on the move.